Some songs are made to be played in the background, and then there are songs that make you stop what you're doing. Earth Song by Michael Jackson is one of those songs. It doesn't enter like a radio jingle. It arrives like a question you cannot ignore. It starts with quiet space, like someone looking around and saying, "Wait, are we really okay with this?" And then, little by little, it grows into something huge: choirs, drums, strings, and emotion, until it feels like the entire room is singing with you. This podcast episode is about how that happened, how Earth Song was created, why it sounded different from the most 90s hits, what was going on culturally when it came out, and why it still hits people decades later. By 1995, people were living in a world that felt more globally connected than before. In the US and Europe, satellite TV and 24-hour news meant you could see war footage, forest fires, famine, pollution, and humanitarian crises far more often, sometimes the same day they happened. MTV wasn't just American anymore, it was international youth culture. If a song had a strong video, it could live everywhere at once. And 1995 was also a very technology year. Windows 95 launched, the PlayStation era was beginning, CD players were common, and studios were transitioning into more digital workflows. Music production was getting cleaner, louder, more layered, sometimes too polished. But what made Earth Song stand out was that it used all that studio power to create something emotional, not flashy. So here's a detail that says a lot about how Michael thought. According to documentation of the song's background, Michael wrote Earth Song at the Vienna Marriott Hotel during the Bad World Tour on June the 1st, 1988, and his goal was an emotional message that was melodically simple enough that people around the world, especially non-English speakers, could sing along. That goal matters, because when you listen to Earth Song, the melody isn't complicated. The power comes from the build, the voice, the arrangement, the repeated questions, and the way the ending becomes almost like a chant. And the recording timeline reflects how long this idea lived with him. The song was recorded across multiple periods, parts in 1988, then June 1989 to August 1990, and later again on September 1994 to March 1995. That's not a casual weekend session. That's a concept Michael kept revisiting until it became what he wanted. Earth Song by Michael Jackson was released by Epic Records on November the 8th, 1995, as the third single from History, Past, Present and Future Book 1 album. And History itself was a major statement album. One part greatest hits, one part new material, and emotionally it's one of the most intense chapters in his discography. If you picture Michael's earlier eras, dance energy, bright hooks, big pop moments, Earth Song is like the opposite direction. It's a slow rise into a storm. It's also important to say that Michael had done socially conscious songs before: Man in the Mirror, Heal the World, We Are the World, but Earth Song was described as his first major track to overtly discuss the environment and animal welfare. So this was not just another ballad, it was a deliberate pivot into bigger themes. If you enjoy this kind of deep listening and reflection, join us live every week with the 90s Lover Show on Fridays and with the 80s Lover Show on Saturdays, both live at 7 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube and Kick channels. I first start the YouTube live stream for around 10 minutes just to allow people some time to gather as a kind of waiting room, and then we continue the full show live stream on Kick, where we can play full music, video clips with no restrictions. I I share the link to Kick for you all to move there. And on Kick is where things really come alive with the four show segments, your song request, live voting, your voice messages on air, and even phone calls to share memories, stories, and reflections connected to the music and life. You can participate or simply listen, and if you feel like participating, you can do it on the Kicks live stream chat or by leaving comments on the main post of our public Facebook group, which allows more space to write. Join our public group on Facebook by searching for RetroLovers Radio 80s and 90s Nostalgia. Make sure also to subscribe on YouTube and turn on the notification bell. And keep an eye on all the 6 extra monthly special shows as well. The credits tell you why the record feels so large. The song was written by Michael Jackson and produced by Michael Jackson, David Foster, and Bill Bottrell. And the production team and musicians include names that, if you know studio history, immediately signal quality. Andrea Crouch's choir appear in the climax, in a call and response with Michael. Bruce Sweden, one of the most famous engineers in Michael's career, handled recording and mixing. Guy Pratt played bass. Michael hired him after hearing his work on Madonna's Like a Prayer. The drum performance is credited to Steve Ferron. There's also an orchestral mix credit noting a co-performance by the London Philharmonic Orchestra, with orchestral arrangement credited for that mix to Elmar Bernstein. Whether you listen as a casual fan or a producer, this matters. Earth's song isn't just Michael singing, it's Michael building a sound world with serious musical forces behind him: choir, orchestra, rock instruments, and modern studio layering. Let's have a look at the arrangement and why the song feels like a rising wave. What Earth Song does brilliantly is how it builds. At the start, it's almost intimate: voice, soft harmony, space. Then you get the sense of the song stepping forward. Percussion grows. The drums start to feel like a heartbeat that's getting stronger. The strings and choir don't appear immediately. They arrive later like reinforcements. And that ending, the ending is everything. Michael doesn't just sing the last chorus. He pleads, he pushes, he repeats the questions. The choir answers. It becomes a chant you can feel in your chest. It's the sound of someone refusing to accept that the world has to stay broken. And the fact that it's structured this way, a slow build, huge climax, also made it perfect for the 90s era of big TV performances, award shows, stadium tours, and of course music video storytelling. The music video for Earth Song is a huge part of why people remember it so vividly. It was directed by Nicholas Brandt, and sources describe it as being shot in four geographical regions, centered on destruction and rebirth. Multiple references identify the filming locations as including the Amazon rainforest, deforestation imagery, a war zone in Karlovac, Croatia, conflict imagery, Tanzania, including scenes connected to wildlife poaching themes. Some sources mention Tarangire National Park, and Warwick, New York, where a controlled forest fire scene was simulated. Now think about 1995. This wasn't normal pop video territory. Many videos were stylized performance, dance routines, fashion. Michael chose something closer to a short film with a global scope. The viewer isn't just watching a singer, they are watching images of the planet and people, stitched together like a warning and a prayer. And the key artistic device in the video, the reversal at the end, turns destruction into restoration, almost like the world is rewinding toward healing. That ending gives people a form of emotional release, not denial, not pretending nothing is wrong, but offering a picture of renewal. Let's have a look at the chart impact. Another reason this song has such a strong legacy is that commercially it didn't just do okay. In several places it became an event. In the United Kingdom, Earth Song was famously hit number one and became the 1995 Christmas number one. Official charts notes it entered at number one and stayed number one for 6 weeks into mid-January of 1996. That's not a small success. In the UK, the Christmas number one has cultural weight. Families, radio, TV shows, holiday shopping, public mood. For Earth Song to hold that spot for 6 weeks means it wasn't just fans buying it, it was people across the country connecting with it. And beyond the UK, it topped charts in countries like Germany, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and others, with strong top 10 placement across Europe. So, in many European homes, UK, Germany, Spain, Scandinavia, this song wasn't just a Michael Jackson track. It was on the radio constantly at the end of 1995, right when people were gathered indoors, when winter nights were long and when holiday emotions were close to the surface. So if you're enjoying this podcast episode and you want more stories like this, songs with context, history, and meaning, take a second to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps the channel reach the people who miss this kind of music and this kind of storytelling. What's interesting about Earth Song is that the lyrics mostly use questions, not speeches, not long explanations about a topic, just questions. What about this? What about us? That makes it feel personal, like someone speaking from the heart instead of giving a lecture. And that's one reason the song works on different audiences, different countries, different backgrounds. The listener feels in their own images. A forest they remember, a place they grew up that changed, an animal they loved, a painful news story, or even just the feeling that something in the world has become too harsh. Michael's voice also carries the message. You hear him move from calm to urgent, from soft to almost raw, and because the production supports that rise, choir and orchestra entering later, the emotional arc feels earned. It's not trying to shock you in the first 10 seconds. It's trying to bring you somewhere. To place you back there, 1995 daily life had a very specific atmosphere. People were still buying CD singles, still recording songs, still watching music channels on TV. In the UK, shows like Top of the Pops were still part of pop culture rhythm. Across Europe, music TV blogs and radio countdowns mattered. In the US, the radio was highly formatted, but major stars still had the power to cut across formats, especially when the video was strong. And for many people, the first memory of Earth Song is not just hearing it, it's seeing it. Seeing those global scenes, then seeing the reversal and the chant, and realizing this song is trying to be bigger than pop. Now, here's where Earth Song becomes more than history. Because even if you don't agree with every image, even if you don't focus on the same causes, the emotional experience is universal. It's a song about caring again when caring feels exhausting. Sometimes life makes you numb. You get tired of problems, tired of bad news, tired of feeling like your attention doesn't change anything. Earth Song doesn't solve the world, but it gives you something valuable. It reminds you that feeling is still possible. And there's a kind of hope in that. Not the everything is perfect kind, the quiet kind, the kind where you realize that if music can still move me, then I'm still alive inside. And maybe that's the first step toward any real change, internal, personal, or beyond. Now I want to hear from you. Where were you when you first heard Earth Song by Michael Jackson? On TV, on the radio, in a car? Was it the song or the video that hit you first? When you listen today, which part stays with you more? The calm beginning, the questions in the lyrics, or the choir and chant at the end? And one more, do you remember a song that made you feel serious in a new way as a kid or teenager? Like music could be more than entertainment? Tell me what it was. Please drop your memories in the comments. I read them all and they really do shape what we cover next. So, do you remember now? This music gave you joy. Now let this moment receive that feeling. Alright, everyone. Thank you so much for being here and see you all in the next one. And Mick, and this is Retro Lovers Radio.